Alright, we should be good now.
Alrighty. And I guess we'll go in 3, 2, 1. What's going on, new Fighting Order fans? This is your host, Alexlexus and Nelson Rios, coming at you from Fighting Game League and new M.U.G.E.N Order. Right? I know we've been away for a minute. I've been having some issues. So just to, shift gears, I was suffering a really bad injury to my lower back. I sustained it overseas. I spoke about this in another video, so I wasn't neglecting anyone, but I was recovering. And all the meds I was on was just jacking me up really bad. Nelson will tell you because I was actually laying down while we were discussing business matters between in the new Fighting Order and everything. So I would say I'm about 90%. So back to work. Nelson's like the slave master. He's like, Alex, let's go. So a couple of announcements. As most of you are hearing rumblings, new M.U.G.E.N Order and Fighting Game League, we have a broadcast that is merged. We have the new Fighting Order. It's the best of the new M.U.G.E.N Order and Fighting Game League. We're going to be doing regular streams. Nelson went through the painstaking task of developing the schedule, and he got asked for my input. So Nelson, give the audience the schedule as to how we're going to be doing things in the near future.
Alright, so far what we came up with, mind you guys, this is a test weekly run. It might change depending on fan base reviews or depending on our working hour conditions, but how we followed it is basically something that will cover everything in the aspect of gaming. How we would have like Sunday to start off, we might stream randomly, we might not. So right now it's to be announced. Monday we have Random Night. Random Night can consist of anything. It could be a podcast, it could be a show, it could be a giveaway, it could be whatever it can be. And then you have Tuesdays, which is mainly, it might switch off between myself or Alex, or both of us will be, combined together. That will be held for Q&A night. Basically what that means is that you, the viewers, the fans of both branches, will give us your questions, your opinions about either anything about the show, anything that you want to discuss about, even if you would like to come on the stream and actually have a debate between another actual fan. That might happen. Wednesday we have...
Now, Nelson, just to jump in real quick, for Q&A night, I like challenges. Like, for instance, I know somebody had challenged me on the PS Vita version of Cross Tekken. And they were like, for a guy who knows his stuff about the consoles and stuff like that, I want those audience members to come on here live and debate with me. You know what I mean? Within good taste. But Q&A night is more like an interactive night. So, like Nelson was saying, you can ask us all kinds of questions, get involved in the stream. We have, a big staff, kind of spiritual staff where, we have people like Tough Nerd Toys, Demizo, we have Nupe, who's on the nMo side. Nelson has his people. We can all come together, but we're going to try and limit the slots because it got kind of crazy. We had 5 people in one podcast, and we had a backup dancer sticking up for one of our staff members, and it was just kind of ugly. But that's interactive night, Q&A, So, Nelson, continue.
Alright, let's see here. Following up by Wednesday, we have open lobby / casual play. What that means that we might have either the viewers to decide or probably one of us from the company to decide whether if we want to have an open lobby of Street Fighter or DOA 5. Anything that's consistent of an actual open lobby that is very streamable to, attract you guys and, and stuff like that. And of course, casual play, meaning that if there's no open lobby session happening at the time, you might catch us, like either myself, Alex, probably Shinwar, or anyone else from like the nMo / Fighting Game group, probably just playing some random stuff. Like the other day, these two was playing Resident Evil 6 on the stream. Just casually playing.
That was awesome. That was a lot of fun. I like that a whole lot. And we got some feedback on it where some people were like, well, the other Resident Evils were better. I like this one, but again, that's good debate. But we'll actually do playthroughs. Nelson will be doing a couple of walkthroughs through some of the games. And, just to let you know, we're trying to cover the whole gamut. Okay, we're trying to broaden our horizons with that. But Nelson, that was a good idea with doing that stream for Jake's Chapter 1
Oh,
mission.
definitely. That was definitely a good choice for that. Lastly, to continue on with the last 2 days, Thursday is basically what we're doing now. Having our podcast, the New Fighting Order podcast, which is basically every Thursday. It's not really to a set time, guys, because like I said, sometimes we work late, sometimes things happen.
I was stuck in traffic for about 2 hours. The construction on Route 22, fuckers.
Yo,
Not the fans. I mean,
the
the fucking
construction
guys who are doing
people.
the
Yeah.
I mean, you wanna wait till do that shit 2 o'clock in the morning, man. People got shit to do,
Yeah,
bitches.
that is
Anyway,
definitely is true. And of course, Friday will be something that I will probably be doing personally, and probably my Alex as well. We're gonna do classic night, where it could be anything classic gaming. Cause since that my company, Fighting Game League, which is mainly fighters, and Alex, which is basically a variety of gaming, we could toss in anything basically back. I can go as far back to stream the original Atari game for you guys that's in my closet up to the stuff that's up to now. So it might be
or
something.
for my M.U.G.E.N fans, like Nelson has 2 of my games,
Mm-hmm.
and he can play test, and he's doing quality assurance on a couple of things, like the DC versus Marvel, which everybody's been asking for, which was originally developed by the M.U.G.E.N team, Scruffy Dragons, and I kind of jumped in, helped out a couple of things, put my spin on a lot of the characters, added tag mode to it. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff. These kinds of things, I would like the Fighting Game League people to see. Because, Nelson, remember that video from East Coast Throwdown? And how the response for homebrew that almost looked like a legitimate game? That kind of stuff might pop up on, Friday nights. You never know.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
I leave that up to Nelson.
That's
And those of you who asked for Third Strike Turbo, Nelson, did I give that to you yet?
Nah, you said that you was tinkering it to
I,
update it to M.U.G.E.N 1.0 or something like that.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Once I get it up there, because I know controller issues, so I'm completely migrating to M.U.G.E.N 1.0. And once the Dragon Ball game comes out for that, with the stage zooming and all that, it's going to be some good stuff. So that's for you M.U.G.E.N fans. So didn't forget about you, because that's what kind of made nMo. And, we're just, showing it to Fighting Game League so that we all have a little hand in this thing.
That is right. Also, to add on to the announcements, I'm pretty sure some of you guys that do follow me on my stream or our new stream now, I kind of stopped doing YouTube videos, and I know you guys have been wondering like what's been happening to that. Well, good news is that I am fully migrating over to Alex's YouTube channel, which I will be sending my videos, my walkthroughs, and everything else that we're doing now straight from there. Bad news is my personal YouTube channel is going down due to the fact that it has some bad little reports on there. I'm not going to really say, but that's officially shutting down as of tonight. But if you want to catch myself, Alex, or the rest of the crew, you can go straight to youtube.com/Alexlexus, which is basically everything we're doing now.
Now, just so you know, that was originally my personal YouTube page, and then I turned it into the business stuff, and I can't change the name. Like, I was trying to make it where, it reflected nMo. I have another YouTube account that is also, Nelson, enabled for 15 minutes. So that will be the backup in case, there's just things that are just, non-categorized that doesn't really fit into, like, our target audience. I'll give you the passwords and everything to that other one that you can stick in there. Like anime, things of that nature, discussions, because we're into all that stuff. So, I will start providing information on that secondary nMo channel for, miscellaneous things.
Right. All right. So you have some topics for us, Alex, to bring to the podcast?
All right. Now that we have hit all our announcements, and Nelson, I love the background, by the way. I think this will be the standard. Even though I'm black as hell, and, I look like oil slick against the background. I like it anyway. But, topics of today. Now, New Fighting Order fans, if you notice, it's been a wave of fighters coming out. It's like the new reign of Superman when Superman got killed and all these Supermen start popping up and all that stuff. I mean, it's good and it's also bad. The reason I say this, I mean, there's some great games from yesteryear like JoJo's Adventure, which I want revenge, and Nelson owes me a rematch in. You know, I'm gonna beat that character with the sword with that rushdown bullshit. It's all good though. But I mean, you got great games like JoJo's Adventure. Recently, yesterday, what was that? Guilty Gear Ascen's Core Plus came out for Xbox Live Arcade. I love it, but it's like a straight port, and they could have done a lot more with that. But that's later in the podcast. I mean, we had Persona 4 released. I mean, it's just a whole wave of fighters coming out, and it's good and it's bad because games like Persona 4, which is not really a mainstream game, is going to kind of get overshadowed, and we probably won't see sequels to, a very good fighter. What do you think of that, Nelson?
Well, as of right now, you are definitely correct. There's like a huge wave of fighters as of the past 2 months now. And for the fact that Persona might get overshadowed, it's a possibility. But the thing is, I don't see that happening anytime soon because that's the closest game that you're gonna get to like Guilty Gear or Blaze Blue. And plus, that game is actually coming out with a Vita version, I think, in the next coming week.
Really? You see, fans, if you can send donations, I will go ahead and pick that up so that for the sake of the show, because I did that with Cross Tekken, even though I had to shell out like $20 for, somebody sent something to me via PayPal, went right to get points, took care of business. So, we're up to like 250 views on that Vita Cross Tekken video. So you do things like that, Nelson and I can do a lot more for you. But if we get that Vita version of Persona 4, it'll definitely be on the show. But I wanted to, you see, the thing I'm concerned about with Persona 4 with the high resolution images, when you play, what was this, freaking Blaze Blue. I played it on the PSP, but you can download that into the Vita, and you can see that they kind of watered it down just so it can be on the system. And I wouldn't want, the Vita is dubbed as being the most powerful handheld system out right now, but then, you got shit like how Cross Tekken and how, Blaze Blue kind of looks on it. If the game is not going to come out like 90% like the console, then don't bring it out. That's my only concern because Persona 4 to me is that good. I wouldn't want to see it just, taking shortcuts. So hopefully it comes out decent. We shall see. We shall see. But, considering going into more of the wave of fighters, I mean, Marvel vs. Capcom Origins has come out between the last time we did a podcast and now, and we already did a stream, or actually two, on the nMo side, and Nelson did one or two. And, I mean, good things and bad things. I mean, considering with the online mode, it's funny, you can't pick turbo or normal speed. Did they say that they were going to patch that in to Marvel vs. Capcom Origins, Nelson?
Yeah, they said that there was not the issue at the time because, like they said, there was the directly porting over the arcade somewhat port of it and somewhat of the PlayStation version side of things. So they kind of never really thought about it. But now what they're going to do, they're going to make the option for both local and online play, that before you create a lobby, it will have the functionality for you to either have it already preset to turbo mode or the option to select it.
Now, Nelson, other versions of this game had that by default, and you're going to release it on Xbox Live and PlayStation Network and neglect to put something that was standard in other versions? Sounds lazy to me.
Yeah,
what do you think?
It does sound lazy, and I know they forgot a little bit more other tweaks and stuff, like you was talking about the cross attack where you're able to play with Marvel vs. Capcom 1 where one person controls one character and you control the other and you're on the same team fighting the computer and stuff like that, or you can have up to 4 players fighting each other at the same time. That was neglected as well.
Exactly. The cross fever mode that the Dreamcast version had.
Right.
Like, I mean, that Origins lost a lot of points for me because of that. Because I'm thinking, okay, you have Xbox Live. Okay, you can do so much with it. But all that they did, Nelson, was take the main ROM. Because those of us who actually went through the whole JTAG stuff, it's not mine, you know. But you can see the zip file that the MAME uses. So it's like, wow, really? That's how they try to wiggle their way around costs and stuff? I mean, if it's just the arcade ROM, fair enough. But the Dreamcast version was just so much better. So much better. They could have did a lot more with it. And I believe that, you know, when they were discussing, hey, would it be possible in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 if everybody controlled the character? I know they pulled that out because not enough resources to do it, and it probably would have been hard for them to implement it correctly. But with Marvel vs. Capcom 1, hell, look at Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Street Fighter Cross Tekken does exactly what Marvel vs. Capcom 1 does on the Dreamcast. So it's doable. You know, it's just, if the companies are willing to put a little bit behind it. And I think, you know, if they added that mode and you had to pay for it, I'd pay for it. Because me and Shinwar were a well-oiled machine team when we were fighting together with Marvel vs. Capcom 1. I think that would have really opened the possibilities for bringing it back to Evo in team-style fashion. You know, that would have been a cool thing. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
That's basically a great idea. I wouldn't mind having the full variety of modes in there for more people to have more fun. Just like, you know, somewhat similar to what they got in Cross Tekken now. But the thing is, that's more like scramble mode where everyone's on the screen at the same time. But I'd rather just have something where it's like, okay, you control one character, then you tag me, and then I have full control capability. You know, something like that. It'll be a lot more easier. But for MVC Origins, I do give it that it has the best online versus game out right now. Like, their netcode is on the most flawless shit I've ever seen. By far.
And, you know, it's funny, that netcode that they came up was so good that they went and patched Street Fighter Third Strike Online Edition with that same netcode. You know, that's pretty funny. But that's good. That's good that Backbone Entertainment decided to go back and fix it and rework it. Even though they know people might not be playing Third Strike Online as much, they're still willing to support that, and I'll go back and continue to play. Probably buy some more DLC for it, too.
Man.
You know? You do good things for it, you'll get people to support your shit. You know, so... Moving on. Darkstalkers Resurrection and the possible new Darkstalkers with the Street Fighter Cross Tekken / Street Fighter 4 framework. And, talking about Darkstalkers Resurrection, that's just to whet our appetites for this new Darkstalker game that we know is in development, and we know that Ono-san, as much as I like the guy, you know, to me he's like a cute little koala bear, you know, but
what?
He's a fucking troll. He does look like a koala. Listen, take a good look at him when he's just like, with his Blanca and shit, like, he look like a fucking koala, man.
Yo.
Anyway, this guy, we know they're working on Darkstalkers, and he's just like, oh yeah, sign a petition. The game is probably like, they probably have it in pre-beta stage, or a playable version that we can't see yet. But hopefully this game will not be riddled with gems, download shit, or whatever that fucking nonsense that destroyed Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I just hope it's like a hardcore Darkstalker game with the quality of Street Fighter 4 2012 AE. But they better get it right. They better not fuck it up. Oh no, don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up, alright? Anyway, Darkstalkers Resurrection is going to have Night Warriors and Darkstalkers 3. Which is weird. Why is Capcom releasing these collections with missing games? Bring Darkstalkers, Vampire Savior, and fucking Darkstalkers 3. Like, what the fuck? You released Marvel vs. Capcom Origins without X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Children of the Atom, and Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. We know the X-Men games were licensing, but Marvel Superheroes should have been in there. So if you're gonna release shit, release the right shit. Remember, Nelson, when we did our first joint podcast?
Yeah.
When we were discussing Devil May Cry HD Collection, which was a good HD collection, but, you know, Metal Gear Solid HD Collection didn't even have the first PlayStation one in there. Not even remastered or anything. You know what I mean? What gives? So if you're going to do it, Capcom, with bringing Darkstalkers back, bring all the games back, you know? But, I don't know, is Night Warriors and Darkstalkers essentially the same game? I don't know. What like, Nelson, were those games that close that they just considered it one game?
Well, I know they had different similarities in different, parts of the game, but I think that what they're trying to do as like their marketing scheme, this might sound a little bit off, but I think they're revolving all of their like re-releases and collector's edition based off of the PlayStation 3. And hear me out when I say this. Is because, say like for example, alright, they have Darkstalkers 1. I'm gonna just call it Darkstalkers 1 and 3 put into the HD collection, right? On the PlayStation Network, they have 1 through 3 already. So that's the reason why that they didn't add 2. Now, if you think about it again for MVC Origins, right? They added Marvel Superheroes and Marvel vs. Capcom 1. In the Japanese and Korean PSN, they have all the other Versus titles.
What do you mean? What Versus titles that they get that we don't get?
Like X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, X-Men Children of the Atom, that type of stuff.
In the Origins game, or just
No.
downloads?
As a download for like the PSN marketplace. So I'm thinking all of their
that's not fucking fair.
I think
man.
all of
that's
their
bullshit.
HD collection things or whatever is built on the foundation of what Sony has already on the marketplace, and they just make like, oh here, get this Xbox. This is my opinion. I don't know if this is true, but
That's like some Mitt Romney bullshit and just buying people off for votes and shit or whatever. Anyway, that's just my shameless plug to politics. But I mean, damn, you see, some of us hardcore Xbox guys are gonna be missing out on a lot of good shit. So Capcom, get it to fucking together. You know what I mean? I praise you guys when you do good. You did great with Resident Evil. Love that game. You know what I mean? I know some of you don't believe this. I like this game. Even though it's a complete departure from what made Resident Evil what it is, but I like those types of shooters. So either way, I enjoyed it. You know, so whatever they put out thereafter, I'm gonna support the Resident Evil. So if you do good, Capcom, I'm gonna big you up. If you fuck up, I'm gonna let you know. Just like I've been getting in your asses about Cross Tekken. I haven't even played that game in so long, but later down the line, we're gonna be talking about the patch notes.
yeah.
But anyway, shifting gears to topic number 2, Xbox Live Arcade games that Nelson and I were really looking forward to. We're taking 2 classics, Nights/Christmas Nights and Sonic Adventure 2. These games were released within the last 21 days, and I'm very happy that I get to play Nights once again. You know, those of you that missed out on the Sega Saturn era missed a wonderful era of gaming. That's where we saw the birth of Burning Rangers. You had freaking Guardian Heroes, which is now on Live Arcade. Thank you, Jesus. Then you got Knights. For me, I'm pretty much good because those are the reasons why I had the Saturn. Hopefully, they can remaster Panzer Dragoon or something like that.
Oh my god, yo.
You know that would be Order that was on Xbox.
That was a
if
good
that's
game.
downloaders. But there were some great games, and I'm glad that slowly Sega is releasing them on Xbox Live Arcade. I was surprised to see how well and how crisp the color, the HD for Knights turned out. Nice 16.9 ratio HD. resolution, beautiful stuff. Same goes for Sonic Adventure 2. I mean, very crisp, very beautiful, very happy to see it. Had an awesome double team ending, which I'm not going to spoil for some of you younger cats that didn't get to play it. You know, but Nelson, what are your thoughts on Knights and Sonic Adventure 2?
All right, this is my opinion on this. I'll start off backwards with Sonic Adventure 2, or if you get the update add-on, it'll be called Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which was originally released on the GameCube. I don't think Sonic Adventure 2 or Sonic Adventure 2 Battle got any graphical upgrade or installment at all. I think it just got, the only thing it had was a 16:9 wide ratio within the gameplay. Not even during the cutscene. The cutscenes were only stuck at 4:3. They did not expand those
Yeah, what the
cutscenes.
hell?
Not only that, my other complaint is that they didn't even bother to maximize their output and put online play for the versus mode. That kind of killed it for me. Because you have online races, shooters, kart racing, child racing. You know how much they would have made if they would have made Xbox Live compatibility with the child world, where you get to mesh your own child and go nuts with it?
That would be cool.
Oh my
that
god,
would be really
yo.
cool. But you do know, Nelson, that Sega, remember, that's why we lost Bayonetta too, because they have their financial issues. So it looked like that
Might be the same
was,
route.
one of the casualties of Sega's financial disarray. So I wish somebody, Sega just needs to merge with somebody, not Nintendo, because Nintendo's pulling tendencies like Sony and buying up exclusive shit like with this Bayonetta, which has a nasty taste in my mouth right now. But they need to merge with somebody. Look at Koei and Tecmo, Bandai and Namco. You know what I mean? Like, if a company needs to survive, they need to hook up with somebody. So Sega, think about it. Hopefully, I mean, I know they merged with Arc Systems, but I don't know what happened with that. That didn't really seem to, gel together or stick together so well. So
definitely,
we shall see.
Definitely
We shall
did
see.
not. But to quickly wrap up the thing about Knights now, I have to say, since ever back in '97 when the Sega Saturn dropped, I have never ever played such a lively and vivid game like Knights. Knights is like a one of a kind, just like how Rez was when that first dropped. Oh my god,
very
man.
good analogy. Which is also out on Live Arcade, by the way.
Yes, Res HD. Must pick that up if you don't have it already. But oh man, Knights, oof, brought back so many memories, man. Oh my god, flying around, beating the bosses, going through like the stages, changing your character from the guy to the little girl. Oh man, that.
Not to mention, Nelson, Knights had a very like the fantasy style music. The music in that game, whoever composed it really did awesome with that. Especially in the museum stage, up in like the stage 4, if I remember correctly.
Like 4.
I mean, I found myself humming the theme because it was just really that cool. It brought you into another world, a dream of a night's dreams or something. Like, you're flying around, and I found myself thinking that was a 2.5D Sonic game. Because you're sitting there doing the loops, but you're more free to float around and do all that cool stuff. I mean, Knights was awesome. Consider the fact that they also had Knights 2 on was that the GameCube or is it the Wii?
It had to have been the Wii.
Yeah. Because, you know what? Sega, ding, 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 ding. Maybe you should bring that out on Xbox Live Arcade, because some of us who are, the cult followers for Knights would like to get the sequel. So think about it. Xbox Live Arcade, you'll make some revenue off of that. Hopefully, they add enough content to make it worth their while so that they can make some sort of profit. I will support that game if it came out on Live Arcade, but I understand they have Wii controls or something, so it might be difficult to port, but I would like to see that.
Definitely. Also, another quick thing to add on to, since we're talking about Sega, if you guys haven't noticed already, they're also re-releasing Virtual Fighter 2, Fighting Vipers, Sonic Fighters, the original Virtual On, and I think Virtual Soccer, all in one bundle, or you can buy those games separately by November 8th.
It's cheaper if you get them all together,
That
though.
is correct. You'll save, I think, about
Mm.
30% altogether.
Now, if Sega's on this blitz of releasing stuff, give me some House of the Dead, give me freaking Dynamite Cop, give me Zombie Revenge, or Dynamite Cop, aka Die Hard Arcade. You know, I mean, give me the Dreamcast one. That's what a Final Fight 3D could be like. You know what I mean? I mean that game was freaking awesome. And Demizel is a big fan of that Dynamite Deca or Dynamite Cop series because he put me onto that. So I mean, there's just a lot of stuff Sega can re-release. So think about it, Sega. We got people asking for stuff. I mean, but Nelson, I think the demand has to be high enough for them to even go that route.
Right, they have to have a certain like as you say, cult following to get that initiated. Oh, did you also hear about the creator of CVS2 and Rival Schools? He wants to have re-releases and the possibility of making new series as of Capcom vs. SNK 3 and Rival Schools 3.
Now, if Rival Schools 3 comes out, bam. Especially with this generation, what the game could look like. I mean, hell, that would be freaking awesome.
Man.
I mean, Rival Schools was a good series that just got neglected.
Yeah, it did.
You know what I mean? CVS 3, it's a crime not to do it. And let me tell you, some of us are M.U.G.E.N community members are already going ahead and making King of Fighters 13 sprites for Ryu and Ken right now. So you can find them on M.U.G.E.N Guild and the WIP section, or work in progress if you don't know what the acronym means. And you actually have a Rios Sakazi or Suzuki actually like Ryu. It's like they merged the freaking CVS 2 sprites with the whole textures of KOF 13. Nelson, you have to see this. I'm waiting for those characters to come out because what I'm going to end up doing is compiling like a little mini game of those characters, and all the authors will be credited to show what can be done. And you see, this is what the magic of M.U.G.E.N. We make things that we wish we could have, and actually show up the companies like Capcom and Arc Systems and what have you, and show them that, hey, we can make stuff too, but this is what we want. It's not to compete with them, it's to commemorate them.
Yes.
So to have a CVS 3 with King of Fighters 13 sprites for all the characters, M.U.G.E.N creative can do it. So why can't these guys do it and make a little money off of it?
Got a point,
That's
man.
just my thought.
Got a point.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just, if there was a CVS 3, SNK does all the artwork, and Capcom can make the game. You know what I mean? Provided they have the right people, and hopefully Sevenson doesn't have shit to say about it. He can just shut the fuck up, stick a banana up his ass, and let the guys at R&D do what the fuck they're supposed to do and make a good game. Instead of trying to put shit in there to hopefully, oh yeah, let's put gems packs in it.
Oh,
Fucking
man.
idiots.
Real funny.
Yeah. Anyway, if Rival Schools and CVS 3 popped up, I'm all over it. CVS 2 was my game. I had a lot of wars, and I even had a famous Jet Fee drop on me. Former tournament player, used to hang around with Sabin. I hate to put people on blast, but he got beat, dropped on me, and had the nerve to invite me into another room on the original Xbox. I'm like, fuck you, I'm never playing you again. But that was my game. I was good, back then.
Yeah, I was years.
Bring out CVS 2. Yeah. bring out CVS 2, baby. I'm waiting for it. HD it up, filters. I mean, Capcom has to understand. People are buying the older games. You know, you re-release them with online play for the current era, the current, consoles. You can reach more people. It's gonna create the hype, the buzz. Give CVS 2 a lobby. You know what I mean? Like, you hook that game up, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. But that's all I got to say on it. I rambled enough. All right. Moving on to the next topic, Street Fighter Cross Tekken patch notes. Now, there's just too much information to cover in our limited time, but I just wanted to say I'm happy that Hugo's getting some nerfs. I'm glad Drury is getting some nerfs. I'm not happy that Balrog is getting his headbutt back that hits crouched opponents. I mean,
it's not gonna really
there's
help.
A couple other things.
It's not gonna help Balrog. I'm just saying though.
Okay, and Nelson and I were discussing why it's not going to help Balrog, but, since we're live, Nelson, explain why, Balrog's buffs to the headbutt isn't really going to help him much.
All right, basically, let me draw this out there to you. Frame data people such as I and Shinwar, which is also part of the nMo side of things. Balrog does not have the same frame data as he does across Tekken. Nobody does. His jab was his priority weapon, regardless how you ever want to put it.
It was cheap.
It was cheap, button mashing, whatever. He can't kick. Sue me, alright? That's all he had. He only had light punch to defend himself in any situation, whether if he was standing or crouching. Since they took that
jab.
Since they took that priority away, he can't combo. He can't combo. His uppercut, his lariats are useful, but they made him super strong in Cross Tekken. So giving him a headbutt, to be honest with you, with the roster that's in the game already, and with him being in there, he's basically washed. Vega is your better choice, in my opinion, because Vega...
But he's getting nerfed. He's getting nerfed, though. Yeah, and he was kind of... I don't want to say cheap, but...
Vega wasn't cheap.
He had a lot of priorities.
He wasn't cheap.
Yes, he was. Yeah, because you use him, don't you? Yeah.
See, the reason why I say he's not cheap is because in Street Fighter 4 he was better. And here they dumbed him down, because if it was the case, if he had a faster frame and, like I said, with the whole Balrog jabbing, I would be killing every goddamn person I fight. Plus, he doesn't have the off-the-wall infinite like he does in Street Fighter 4. That doesn't count in Cross Tekken. So they kind of nerfed him significantly. And if they're sitting there nerfing him even more, that means that either one, the fans are little bitches and they don't know how to fight Vega, or two, they are seriously fucking stupid that they should worry about the priorities of Hugo, Marduk, Jin, Kazuya, Zayu.
Oh, yeah.
You have all these fucked
Jin
up
has
things.
an answer for everything. In every situation, he can get out of it. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, I don't think the character is broken, but the way that they balanced him. I mean, I had a fight with Chun-Li. I was using Chun-Li, Blanca versus Jin and Rolento, and I had him beat. And then all of a sudden, anything that I did, it's like, okay, you do the down command, he goes into his stance, do the anti-air kick. Then he's throwing, like, the freaking lightning balls or whatever. Then it got to a point where he created a vortex I could not get to him. You know what I mean? Even with Blanca's EX roll, it was getting punished. I'm like, oh my god, what do I do? You know what I mean? Like, Jin should have been the one to actually suffer some nerfs as opposed to other characters. Hugo, nerf him. Again, nerf him. Make it so that he can't use defense gems because it's not fair. You can be beating up Hugo, and one mistake against a character with low stamina like Chun-Li, you're done. You're done. A noob will take like 100 points from you off of, and Ono even went on record to say that, oh, Hugo's going to be our big bad mother effer. I'm like, really? Okay. I just, hopefully, I mean, so, some changes were good. Like Abel is, now his counter is not the roll, but it's actually the shoulder tackle. I was wondering why they gave him a counter that's a roll or a counter that's an evasive move. It should have been an attack. That's what a counter is.
Well, they did that is because I'll give you a little bit of insight. They did that because the super that he has, which is what is it called, Breathless, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mix
Right.
of the two.
Right, but the thing is, when you do the counter, the character is instantly offsetted by a delay by 2 seconds. So you have the option already to go right into the super and instantly grab your opponent, and they can't break out of it.
Ooh, sexy.
So that's the reason why they kind of took it out, and they made it so that he has the shoulder ram, which counts as off the wall bounce effect now, that you could combo into the ultra even still.
But of course, it's gonna scale it.
Yeah, of course.
So it's not.
Of course.
But I saw a video that Maximilian put out not too long ago, talking about certain changes to Cross Tekken in terms of like life recovery, certain things that are gonna happen to like the fight display, how it's gonna go away faster. They're gonna not make the gem activation effects so obvious, things of that nature. There was just a lot of stuff that they said they were going to change that I don't know if it's really going to fix a lot of the issues. They're talking about, okay, when you're recovering Gray Life, they're going to slow it down or reduce it to a point where it's going to eliminate timeouts. We'll see. I mean, what about those who use gems or use defense gems? It's still going to somehow present itself to be an issue. So I don't understand why for a game that has 2 people on screen and you have to knock out almost double the life. Like, for instance, if you knock out 50% of one person's life, then they tag out, and then you knock out 50% of the second person's life, that fight should have already ended if it's just one person, because if it's Street Fighter 4, that's what will happen. But with a game that has 2 people in there, you have to compensate the time for double the life bars. So, I mean, Nelson, do I have a point when I say this, or do you disagree with it? I mean, it's only logical.
No, I agree with you 100%. It's just the fact that they just need to, in my opinion, if they're going to keep these defensive gems and all these other gems and stuff like that, first off, they're going to have to significantly reduce anything that has to do with power. Anything with strength, vitality, whatever. They have to significantly reduce that. And they're going to need to buff, except for the likely characters like Hugo and stuff like that. They're going to have to buff every single character in the game, so the fight is shorter. Because the thing is, if they don't fix the time, they're going to have to increase the character strength. Okay, you have to compensate in some form of way. The whole thing with the gray health bar being changed, so you know what is what, so you can tell which is the red health, or the gray health as they call it now. And they was talking about like distancing, super meters, the frames is much faster for a throw, so you can like actually use the throw more better now in the game.
It's closer to Street Fighter 4. I think it's off only by 2 frames, if not mistaken.
Yeah. Because
Street Fighter 3 or 4 is like, 3 frames? And I think from 7 frames it's coming down to 5, or I'm trying to remember, because I work at a place where I deal with numbers all day, so if I don't remember details, I apologize. I'm doing the best I can. But yeah, like the throw game is actually going to get better. Also with the cross rushing, I believe they're taking out the delay. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, launch, and it's supposed to be like a smooth transition. So it's not going to be like big hit and then something, the other character pops up. So I was thinking about I was trying to visualize what that would look like. That would feel a lot more like Dead or Alive 5 and Tekken Tag type thing. If it's successful in the way that I think the direction they're trying to go, is going to keep the gameplay flow moving a little bit faster. So that remains to be seen. But in terms of the whole thing with the gems, like, I think part of the time out thing was the fact that they were trying to force people to use gems like power gems to knock out your enemy quick, thus forcing you to buy new gems and things like that, just to, see, I think that the root of the problem is the fact that the gems are the issue. You know, hey, Pandora. They even talked on event hubs about the Pandora thing. Well, why don't you sacrifice this and use the Pandora extend gem? I mean, wow, really? I mean, I understand that they put it in a way where it's a comeback mechanic, but it doesn't guarantee success. I understand that, and if you win with it, you'll be like, yes, I earned it, I got it. But if it's like that, where people are afraid to use it because it doesn't guarantee anything,
Yeah.
that's almost like a slap in the face to X Factor, which is indeed bullshit. But it works. It works. And if you suck and you blow it, then you blow your X Factor and you don't get it back. But the fact that Pandora to me is still useless and they're still defending it, crying shame. Crying shame. But what are your thoughts on that, Nelson?
No, you got a valid point on that. I mean, the fact that they're not even wanting to take the time out. Oh, excuse me. Oh, by the way, something's wrong with your camera. You look like the fucking Hollow Man at the moment right now.
Uh-oh. That's not cool.
No, definitely not. But they can still hear you. It's just, you look like the Hollow Man.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, about the whole Pandora time and stuff like that. It's just, they just need to fix it. There's that. Ooh, that's not good. Crap. Alright. Give me 1 second, guys. That was not good. Let's try to get Alex back on the line. Okay. There we go.
Ooh, froze on me, man.
Alright.
Am I back?
Yeah, now you're back on the air.
Technical difficulties, people. I am sorry. My computer is acting like poo-poo right now.
Yeah.
But anyway. Okay, now enough of Cross Tekken. We're gonna actually do a specific show on those patch notes, and those of you on event hubs that were leaving comments in the forum, if you have Uvu, you can get on this podcast so we can talk about these things and see if Street Fighter Cross Tekken is finally going in the direction that it needs to go in. So we shall see. All right, moving on to our next topic. Chris G, a.k.a. Nelson Rios, has left Finger Cramp. And we have a little inside joke that Nelson looks a lot like Chris G. And when I met Chris G at KFTC in Morristown, I shook his hand. I'm like, damn, I felt like I was shaking Nelson's hand. And for a guy who's that freaking good at these games, he's very cool. He's a down-to-earth guy. I see that. He's just approachable. He's willing to share tech information in terms of like with Sayu and how he caught Shinwar and that set the little infinite loop. He was just like, hey, it's just the timing. And he was trying to show us how to do it during casual play. I'm like, man, that was just something. But Finger Cramp no longer has Chris G. Now, Nelson has more information on this, so I'm going to give him the floor so we can discuss that.
Alright, basically his contract has expired along with Finger Cramp, I would say about 2 days ago. It was during the time before Chris went up to Canada Cup, which is now streaming as of today because it will be Friday now. It's now 12:06, so he will be in Canada fighting in the tournament over the weekend, so you guys could go check that out. But his contract expired, and apparently Haroon Khan, which is Hack, as you guys all know him from Finger Cramp, he kind of helped Chris G to get the new sponsorship because it was, I guess you could say, like a better outlook for Chris anyway. So now he joined up with a company called AGE, which you guys should be familiar with, which is the Afterglow controllers, the headphones. So he's partnered up with Knives, Fnatic, and all those top players, Van Geef and stuff like that. So he's with some top players within the West Coast right now. And he's probably the first East Coast representative in AGE.
And that's a good thing because considering that we need more representation from the tri-state area here in the East Coast, Chris G, we don't want to like put it where, hey, he has to represent us, but we know that he's from here, and it's good to know that he's out there doing great things. So those of you who are following him, show him some support. I mean, it's good to see our fighting game community brothers doing well and making their way and getting opportunities. So, big up to him. I clap. Golf clap.
Golf
Good for him. All right. So, second to last topic, Street Fighter Cross Tekken on the Vita.
Oh, boy.
Most of you have seen a video of mine, and I have a lukewarm feeling to the game. Now, I will be honest, I'm still pissed off at how Street Fighter Cross Tekken has been handled by Capcom, and I had to make sure as a producer, as an executive of nMo, and now joining with a Fighting Game League, that I try to make sure that it's completely unbiased when I was making the review. Same way that I did for the Double Dragon Neon. Even though I'm a big fan of Double Dragon, I also pointed out some of the flaws with that game. So I just wanted to put that on record as a journalist of gaming to make sure that I'm not saying because I hate Seven Sin or Seth Killian left all this and the Capcom. No. I picked it up because the Vita, to me, is a great device. It just needs more support. And I was saying to myself, all right, let me get the Cross Tekken. I remember I did go on record to say I would not support it, but I had to get it because it's something mainstream that has to be covered by this broadcast. So I'm just putting that out there. Now, I picked the game up on launch day, okay? I was talking to Nelson over Xbox Live. Shinwar, I told him, yeah, I'm downloading Cross Tekken right now. So, I pick up the game. My initial impressions of the game was, okay, the intro looked cool. The music's pretty much identical, except for missing tracks. Some stages that have 3 round music.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, I think the second round is removed. I noticed that for the final fight, the Mad Gear Hideout stage, they go from stage 1, and then stage 2 goes straight into Cody's theme song from the Final Fight theme. So I'm like, okay. The stages are also remixed. So the Final Fight stage, you don't really see Hagar busting up out of the floor, flexing or whatever. You see him already beating up the Mad Gear, and he has them all tied up, whatever. I mean, just there's some subtle differences. But in terms of like the select screen, the frame rate is really low. It runs at 30 frames. It's just, it's different. I believe it was handled by an internal team that had just the source material to port the game to the Vita. It does have some highs and lows, but some of the lows in terms of, okay, you got the touchscreen thing. I don't know if you can turn that off. But if I'm playing someone on the PlayStation 3, I can cheat and just keep tapping the screen and hitting auto combos and stuff like that. So it's just a game that you get if you're bored or you go into a tournament and you're just, wanting to burn some time, or you're on a long road trip, or you're going on military duty like I do often, and you just want to burn some time. It's not horrible. It's not great. I almost also feel like I'm playing like in the Special Olympics, trying to do moves and chain combos and everything, because I'm so used to arcade stick. It's very playable though. But if I were to compare Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Ultimate to Street Fighter Cross Tekken for the Vita, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 actually came out closer to the console version than Cross Tekken. There's just too many subtle changes to the game. Even like with the versus screen, the textures are kind of low, But I understand it's a handheld. It was, I'm responding to a comment that was on the YouTube channel. I understand it's a Vita, but if Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came out as good as it did, as close to the console port as it did for the Vita, there was no excuse for Cross Tekken. Yeah, you know what I mean? When you only have two people on screen, and Marvel vs. Capcom 3 has three people, or 3-on-3, so you got six people fighting. You know, memory's not an issue. It's just how the game was developed for the system. Like Nelson, there was something where with the versus screen, it almost felt like I'm looking at the iOS version of the game,
Ooh.
and I was just like, "Ooh, man, what the hell?" And I was saying to myself, "Damn, this $40 gone." And the fan that gave me the $20 and my own $20 I could have used for gas or whatever, I'm like, But it's not bad. It's not bad. If you really support the Vita, then get it. If you're a diehard cross-second fan, get it. But if you don't have to, if you can live without it, I wouldn't do it. But it's fun to just see, like, you can actually be next to a buddy, you're playing on AHOC mode or whatever, and doing your thing. I honestly think Alpha 3 Max Upper was better when I re-downloaded it on the Vita, you know? But, I mean, Nelson, do you have any questions of me from the Vita version of the game?
Ooh. The only thing that I know that the Vita version has that made it a good feature is that cross-play thingy, and that's probably the only thing that you could be interested in. Everything else as of take your favorite photo thing with your favorite character type bullshit, or adding your own trophies or movie mode or whatever.
Yeah.
That was caca. That no. It was full of crap. That was misleading bullshit that they did. And to say, yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is the better version, and even more, in my opinion, to the console, even though, of course, the console would be the superior version. But the thing is, I like the fact that the Vita version itself had a training upgrade where you're able to vividly see hitboxes in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which was very needed in the console version update, and they never did that. So, in my opinion, if I had to choose either or, Marvel 3 takes the cake because it runs at 60 frames per second from start to finish.
That is true. That is true. Now, considering we understand that Marvel 3, it probably suffers some slight losses visually, but you don't really notice
No.
it because it plays so well. It moves so well. You know, they didn't cut corners anywhere. You know, and I know that their versus screen is all like flat images and everything. I get that, but Cross Tekken was supposed to really be, hey, you know. And here's another thing. I was looking at the game. I'm like, okay, so this watered down version of Cross Tekken is the reason why we almost didn't get the DLC characters until September or October-ish. Like, really? No. And I think Capcom was very wise to release the DLC characters and not wait up on the Vita version, because those who get the Vita version and see, like, wow, really? But then again, for what it is, it achieves something where you have a portable Street Fighter Cross Tekken. It works. It plays like its console counterpart. It's just a few things bother me about it. The half-ass select screen. I mean, you know, the control is kind of awkward because of the button and everything. It's not horrible. I'm only giving it, like, you know, a 5 out of 10. And still, Nelson is played by, you know, just like the console version. Gems and all that other stuff. I refuse to buy gems for that version. Bottom line, if you kick my ass on the PSN, hey, so be it. But I refuse to buy gems. Hell, I might just flat out disable them.
Yeah, that's just the better choice.
Yep. Alright, so, last topic. Games that we're looking forward to. Now, Nelson might kill me for this, but I am now a bit curious about this Devil May Cry reboot. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that I'm seeing a lot more of, like, the background and everything and what's going on, where, you know, the machines, not the machines, but it seems like the demons are putting humans through a Matrix type shit. And, like, that looks interesting. it still bothers me with this hair and his design. What the fuck? But I may give the game a chance. But let me tell you, Ninja Theory, if something, if his hair is not white by the end of the game, I'm gonna fucking go in on you guys. Matter of fact, if it's out of 10 points, if Dante's hair doesn't turn white, you're gonna lose 8 points by default, straight up. So I'm actually now looking forward to playing that demo, a Devil May Cry reboot. I'm looking forward to Metal Gear Solid Rising or Metal Gear Rising because now more of the stories popping up where they explain how Raiden is now Raiden Black. He gets damaged really bad fighting the other cyborg. You know, he got butt hurt real bad and he's back for revenge. Looking forward to Halo 4. I mean, hell, we're still on the fence with seeing how we're going to do the midnight release. I'm not sure if it's too late for media to go and register, but that would be an interesting thing to check out. Then we got Black Ops. Now, I know some of the nMo fans aren't big into shooters in Iraq. I really start getting into them. So those are my top 4 picks. Nelson, what games are you looking forward to before the end of the year?
Okay, before I say my top picks, let me bestow a little bit of information on one of the games you just mentioned. Did you see, by any chance, the Comic-Con press for DMC?
No.
Oh boy, you want to know how they came up with the fucking idea for the character? Yo, I kid you not, when I say that they completely disrespected Japan in every way possible, they made it very clear. Very, very clear that they disrespected Japan. And not in a way that you won't notice at first, but for someone like me or you, that registers instantly.
Yeah.
So they basically did it by how the style of clothing is from Japan, which they call East, and us, we're called the West. So they're doing it by clothing, by music, and by lifestyle choices. And that's how they became about of making the character. They said that, we don't want to make him too flashy because Japan is always so characteristic and full of color and blah, blah, blah. All right, let's kill that. All right, Japan listens to weird, wacky music that doesn't make any sense. Okay, kill that. Their lifestyle changes and blah, blah, blah. They make him all, like, rough and rugged and shit. It's like, he wouldn't look right in a movie. So they try to make it as Western as possible. But get this, though. From what I heard of, what's the company's name again? Because I completely disregarded them off the map.
Ninja Theory, creators of Heavenly Sword, which had mixed reviews. I mean, I heard good and bad things about it, and Enslaved.
Right. Ninja Theory, the creator that is doing the game is based in the UK. Now, get that right now. Just understand exactly what I said.
And Dante is British or something like that.
Bingo.
With the UK,
Bingo. So you basically disrespected an entire culture, disrespected the West, and basically put Europe or the United Kingdom on the map.
James Bond, Dante, Sparta.
Wow, that like blew my fucking mind when I heard that, but I'll leave that for another podcast.
I did hear that Capcom was told, they were told by Capcom to really go different with Dante's design.
They did tell them that,
but this was crazy. This is suicide. But the game is, I think the game itself is going to be decent. Capcom's team from Devil May Cry 1 and 3 are actually helping Ninja Theory make the game. It's just the design. Why does he look like the executive producer of the game?
Dang.
You know what I mean? Like, did you see the side? He looks
like
him.
He does.
Did you see the side-by-side pictures? And they're fucking... I'm like, wow, so you want to be Dante. Dante is you. You're like, yeah.
That's pretty bad, but... my 4 top games by the end of the year, you say. But the first one, of course, has to be Zone of the Enders HD Collection. That's a must-get game. I have to get that. I'm a huge ZOE fan, and of course they're making part three, which is under development as we speak right now.
Mm-hmm.
If we have to say top four, it looks like most likely I have to break into the next year as well, because I don't think I can name everything for this year. So it'll have to be Zone of the Enders HD Collection as number one. Number two will have to be Metal Gear Rising, which comes out next year. Number three will have to be the other Metal Gear Solid game for the normal Metal Gear Solid people. What would they
Ground
Ground
Zeroes.
Zeroes? That's another one. And my final pick, if I had to choose, hmm, I would probably say, hmm, that's a hard one actually, because there's a lot of new titles coming out in the beginning of the year. I really don't know. That's a hard one. That's a real hard one. I'll leave that as blank.
Well,
I'll leave that as a blank. So I'll just choose those three. I can't pick a
now
fourth.
we're gonna put this out to you, audience. What are the top four games that you're looking forward to between now and early 2013? You know, a lot of great games. Matter of fact, I almost forgot to mention Castlevania: Lords of Shadow
Oh, yeah.
because you actually see Gabriel as Dracula busting ass in that trailer. I'm like, oh man, you know. But we shall see. I'm looking forward. There's a lot of good things coming down the pipeline. So, you know, new Fighting Order fans, we're gonna hit that horizon together. So, Nelson, do you have anything for the good of the group before we sign off?
Basically, as we kept saying before, guys, we are streaming. We are trying to make ourselves more known and stuff like that. We just like you guys to support the channel. We could use more followers so we could get the partnership, so we could give back to you, the community, and we could do more things, ongoing things for you guys. And also the same thing with our YouTube channel. As long as we are helping out the community and we're helping you guys with, giving you the latest insight, our opinions, information, and everything like that, you'll be helping us to get better and to become more of something. So that would be greatly appreciated if you guys could, help us out on both ends of our stream, which is Twitch TV/Fighting Game League, and also our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Alexlexus.
Alrighty. Alright, so NMO fans, Fighting Game League fans, now new Fighting Order fans. We'll see you next time on our podcast. Alright, so Chris G's cousin is signing off in the Black Metroid. See you next time on the podcast show. Peace.
Yo, yeah, man.
I had to get my shots in, baby.